Just...
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first NOBBL Roundup. As some of you may know, this has been something that's done by BloodbowlLive as part of the ADBBL down in Suffolk, and something that we've talked about for a while about getting running for NOBBL as well, and we just have never got around to it. Apologies for the late start. We've had a couple of tech issues, mainly me not really understanding the tech, and also my children being children. So all good. And Dodge is already here.
Standard Dodge.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're already correcting me. Yes, there is the Resurrection of the NOBBLs one. It was done beforehand. Anyway, I'm not going to allow Dodge to put me off. Well, joined alongside me, as you can all see, are Jay and Alan. Yes, you, Dodge, be quiet. This is going to be really distracting.
It's what he does best.
It really is. It really is. First question, obviously, what we're going to do tonight is go through all of the matches that have happened, do a bit of a roundup of what's gone on, spend a few minutes per match, and all of that. However, what I wanted to do to start off with is Jay and Alan. Obviously, this is their first round with new rules. How did you think it's gone overall?
I feel like there's a lot of new rules and a lot of new things that teams have that probably seemed either really strong or not strong enough. So I think everyone's just adjusting a bit. So it may have been, some games may have gone a bit worse for others, some gone a bit better than normal. So a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah. I see the same. I was doing some notes earlier on. Some of them I was looking at and being like, those are big scores. Yeah, this is people adjusting to the new round, to the new meta. So, all good. Right. What we'll do, because we have a lot of games to go through, we'll jump through them fairly quickly. I've joined, but if Jay says the number 5, I'm leaving. Well, don't worry. I've got your match, so you don't need to panic about that. Are you
Won't
okay
be saying
with
that
me
number.
saying 5 is the question. That is the big question. So, what we're going to do, for anyone unfamiliar with the format, we are going to start off by just doing a quick roundup of each of the matches that have gone on in the past round. It's going to be a couple of minutes per match, so please don't get offended if you think, oh, there's a really big thing that went on. We can only go off what's on tour play. So without waiting any longer, and without me jabbering on any more, let's crack on. So we're going to start off with the greenies and go from the top. And one of the two, I think the only concession looking through these, the only concession we had this round, Stephen versus Brett. Now, sadly, Brett is unable to carry on with the rest of this season. So, Stephen, no, this does not count as a win for you against Brett. Do not be saying that. That doesn't work. I know it will do on paper, but no, that doesn't count. So, Brett has had to jump out and is being filled in by, let's scroll down, by the Blackhawks from the reserves, who's going to be jumping in and taking his place. However, I'd have said Stephen will probably take that. You know, we all 100%. Know how good.
I mean, I think anyone takes a free win.
Yeah,
free win.
Exactly, and particularly against Brett, we know how good he is.
Yes.
So exactly. Does Jay know that he is living in a haunted house? Weird face, flickery lights. Oh, that's just Jay's face, I thought. What's that?
Got a guest appearance later from the Spooky Ghost in Corner.
Exactly. There you go. So, next, moving on, we have a 1-1 draw between Will and Josh, OWA versus Delphs. Surprisingly bloodless. I'll be honest, looking at the two teams, you'd think there'd be a bit more, particularly with OWA being as strong as they are this time. One thing I found interesting here, my first one in the list, 3 prayers to Nuffle, so I am curious about how much of a difference that made. Overall, solid start for both teams, solid draw. The OWA thrower is MNG. If we look at Will's team quickly, which I don't really know how Will's playing them, to be honest. It could be a big deal, could be not. It could be massive, it could be a big thing, maybe not. Now, and there's no permanent casualties on the elves, so it is a bit of a bloodless start. However, you know what? That's shaping up all right. It's another one of the teams, one of the many elf teams that got kick and leader catch, random dodge on an assassin.
Skills you'll take every time.
Exactly. I think that's probably starting up quite well for Josh there. And Will is actually looking at my notes. Next round, Will is facing you, Jay.
Yes.
I think he gets a lot of inducements.
It's about 110k, I believe it was when I checked last.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
How you feeling?
With how humans are now, fairly strong.
Mm-hmm.
The possible free rerolls seem a little bit crazy still. But I think it all depends. It's going to be who can hurt who first, as most games tend to be.
Exactly.
It's not an edge versus edge. It's a fist versus fist a bit.
Yes, exactly. No, I completely agree. It's going to be one of those that could go either way. And looking at the next one, Josh is playing some Orcs, and the Orcs get 115k. Josh, I hate to say that could be a bit of that could be a rough game for you, but you know what? Elves are going to elf, so you never know.
Always in with a chance with an elf.
Exactly. You only need a couple on the pitch.
I learned that last season.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You didn't need many. Terry. Oh, Terry. What happened? I'm not even going to say it, but just what happened here. 30 SPP for Jay, and I'm a big fan of yours this season. I can't just skip it, Terry. That's the problem. I can't just skip yours. Tell you what, would you rather I just moved on here? Is this a match to forget? Maybe let's just move on. It's a very rough start for you, Terry. It really is. And not a huge amount of development on there, but to be fair, when it's there.
There's one dead rat as well, which is not great.
No, exactly. It's a rough start, but I mean, I suppose that's the thing with Skaven, and you've got.
You need to stay quiet in this part, Jay.
Well,
you need to stay very quiet.
Yeah. You're not. Don't worry. I can mute his mic if I need to. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you, Terry. The no SPP, that's the frustration. You think if you're going to get hammered, you at least hope to get something from it. Because some matches, like you say, clearly Jay played very well, and things as well. It's a dice game; it can happen, can't it? But coming out with no SPP is rough. But I think obviously you're taking on Will next round, Jay, and Terry moving on to Tomb Kings. So again, it's going to be a tough one for you, but you do have a massive speed advantage, so who knows. Now on to Jasmine and George. So Jasmine's first time in NOBBL. She's a coach that I've played before in other leagues, so she's not a newbie coach, but she's new to us, and this is the return of George. And Goblins versus NOBBL. This was always going to be an uphill battle for the Goblins, I'll be honest. A 3-0 win for the NOBBL. NOBBL have just got better. Goblins have just got worse. I don't really know what you can say. Goblins have always been a tricky team. 25 SPP for George. That's an excellent start. That is a really, really excellent start. But if I scroll down, one very sad thing. The Looney's dead. Jasmine's Looney had died. And that is a big loss. That is a big loss. I don't know if you're in the chat, Jasmine. But yeah, that Looney, that is possibly the worst start you can have with Goblins, to be losing potentially your best player there. Well, exactly like you say, Deutsch, there's plenty more where that comes from. You can still do it. Worst is the troll. Did she lose a troll? No, she didn't lose a troll. They were. Oh, okay.
The worst one you could
yes.
lose as a troll, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's what he's meaning. Right, that's fine. That confused me. I was like, how have I missed that? There is a dead troll, but that's later on. Now, Jasmine moves on to face the Blorks next round that have come up from reserves, which that's going to be a really interesting matchup, because Blorks could smush the Goblins all over the place, or if the Goblins manage to get into their Goblin counterparts, who knows? So she may well turn this around. And let's face it, you're playing Goblins. sometimes you're going to lose and sometimes you're going to get smushed. Nurgle are always going to be that way for you. George is moving on to face Stephen and the Undead. But what I found very interesting, looking at his team, this is looking nasty.
Yeah, 10 SPP on a Pestigore is not... don't like the look of it.
No, a Pestigore that can already take a stat.
Yes, not great.
No, that is going to be... That is a player to watch. That is definitely a player to watch. And now, if I was in that league, I'd be saying, Stephen, that's a player you need to kill. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And I think it's like a bloater that could take guard or block as well already. Yeah, he's had a very nice start, and I think that's going to be a team that's going to be quite interesting. Not a stat yet. Secondary. There you go. Yes, that's me not reading it right. And final one in the greenies. We have Ben versus Chris and a 2-0 will win for the Tomb Kings, our first Tomb Kings there. And interestingly, someone who's recorded stalling. Now, has everyone actually been recording it? I don't know. Yes, surprise, the walking spreadsheet has recorded stalling, yes. A very, very solid start for Tomb Kings. Again, the thing is, there's two very competent coaches, and looking at it beforehand, you're thinking that could really go either way. Probably the biggest loss there. You've got big losses on both sides, really. Chris comes out of it down a Tomb Guardian, who now carries a niggle. And we look at the Orcs. Down the Thrower. Now the Thrower is not the end of the world.
Especially secure the ball now.
Yeah, exactly. There were probably bigger pieces on there, but neither team has come out unscathed there at all. So I'd say a bit of a mixed bag. This early in it, it's still very much anyone's game, isn't it? It's first match in, what you're going to do. Moving on quickly, Upper Crusts. I believe that was that you, Jay?
Yes. So first game. Well, the standards at the minute, we seem to have Tomb Kings at the top, which is, to be fair, with the teams in there, I'm a little bit surprised. I think I would have kind of expected one of the two, one of the Edge teams, like the Vampires or the Wood Elves, but they seem to have got each other in their first game.
Yeah, that seems to have happened a few times. And obviously, it's just the random matchmaker.
Yes.
But there seems to be a lot of Bash versus Bash and Edge versus Edge first time round, which is quite interesting.
Keeps it even most of the time.
It does.
Obviously, dice can change that, but not much you can do with that.
Exactly. Oh, good evening, Chris. I did wonder if you'd be dropping in. I hope you are satisfied with how things are going. And yes, my tech is nowhere near as good as yours, so I hope it's coming through all right. Just got the NDP boss coming in to check in on me. The Mad Scotsman is having some lag issues, Deutsch, so don't worry. I think he's going to be back, and if he doesn't, we're going to cover his side of it anyway.
Yeah, he'll be back to talk some gibberish when it's his turn.
Exactly. Do you want me to go from the top, Jay?
Yeah, so the first game, we had Wood Elves versus Vampires. We had Phil versus Simon. So Simon winning his last season, top of his group, and then proceeding to kind of run through it. Did really well. But then seemingly not struggling, it's probably not the word I would use here, but it was a bit of a slow game. Both teams only scoring one. Only one Kaz each side as well, which is a little bit strange. But there was also 8 completions, I think it was, from the thrower.
Yeah, and I wonder whether or not...
it looks like Phil's probably taken his time and just been playing it back and forth.
I think he's been doing the standard Wood Elf Dakar. I'm going to just build up build up the SPP here, which I don't blame him. I don't blame him in a league. It's a solid way to start, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't. It makes sense to do if you're playing Wood Elves. I mean, you can do it with pretty much every single one of them now, essentially. But it makes sense. But again, a slow game for two teams that are full of edge. You'd expect either like a 2-2 draw, maybe a 2-1. But especially since there's not many Kaz, you kind of expect that, but you can't see the knockouts, so it could be anything. Could have been a few vampires down, could have been a couple of elves down. Especially with armor 8, they're kind of easy to take out most of the time.
Yeah.
But overall, a pretty average start for the two teams. Not too special. I mean, the Wood Elves getting 16 SPP, 8 of that again being completions. It's a decent start for the Wood Elves. Not so great for Simon, but I'm sure he'll pick it up with the vampires. You can't really go wrong with them, well, as long as they don't bite themselves.
Well, exactly. And the thing is that I was thinking that, I was looking through it, thinking the same. You look at Torpe, you think there's not much going on. Yeah. We're talking about two very good coaches here who it probably was far more tactical than it looks. There's probably a lot more going on that just isn't on Torpe.
Oh, 100%. It's one of those, when there's not much going on, there's not much going on, but there's definitely more at the table there and then, which I think we all know.
Yeah, exactly. So. And obviously we have a lovely fan of Chris Blunt in the chat. Disgraceful vanity passing by the try-hard Team England coach. But apparently this is the Team England way. Clearly that's what you need to do. Don't quote me on that.
How you make it in.
Exactly.
But yeah, the next game we had the Necro versus the Bretonians, which we had Infernum versus Big Ron. I don't believe I know the two of these very well myself. But it did look like a little bit of like the Undead doing typical Undead things. They're trying to hit everything they can. You kind of expect, maybe you would hope for a bit more casualty wise for them, because they did get one with the 2 injuries on the Bretonian side, which I think may have possibly been a failed dodge or anything. Or it wasn't broke down, but you expect the werewolves to do a lot here. And it kind of seems like it was just nothing was either going through dice-wise, or it was just, again, one of those where the Bretonians were able to stand their ground, take the beat in a bit, or they may have beat the Undead. Again, can't really see much for this, but it's a 2-1 win to the Death Roll, who seem to roll over the opponent a little bit, with them getting 2 injuries. And fouling as well straight away with Samurai Pizza Cat. Quite a not a normal name, I would say.
I'm enjoying that. Let's have a look. Samurai Pizza. Oh, he's random sneaky git. There you go.
Ah, that makes more sense now. I didn't see that bit.
Yeah, I did wonder whether that's his veterans randoming sneaky git, which
still got sent off.
Still got sent off. Is that, and that looks like probably a turn 1 or 2 as well.
Yes, but it got an injury, so you can't really complain. I would happily take a zombie for a thrower any day of the week.
100%.
Probably aided in slowing down the Bretonian scoring as well a bit more, which is always nice.
Exactly.
But it looks like an overall decent game. Not many Kaz. More of a bowl game rather than a blood.
Yeah, it does look that way.
But then the next game, we had Chaos Dwarves, which was Zartan's Reapers of Zar versus Show No Mercy, which was Iron Bruiser and Big Bad Bow. This one had a lot of Kaz for the two teams. It was even a piece. It was 3 Kaz each, which you don't really expect, and it ended in a 1-1 draw. So the Gnomes able to hold their own against a team that relatively are normally hard to break down if the Chaos Dwarves are in the right spots most of the time. But it looks like the Hobgoblins had the pleasure of getting smacked quite a bit. And both teams suffering 1 death as well, which is never great. But it just kind of overall looked like a bit of a bloodbath more than anything. Just absolutely battering each other. Getting Kaz on the Treeman, which is always nice. Getting extra SPP for the throw teammates. And getting the casualty points for the Chaos Dwarf blockers on the Chaos Dwarf side. Overall, it's the best people that can be getting that SPP. So it looked like a good game. And again, a death's always nice. We always like to see people die. Specifically in Blood Bowl.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe nowhere else.
Well, yes, very good point. Thank you. Good clarification. I think what's interesting there is the only 2 deaths. They're on linemen. So...
Yes, nothing too important, but it's still, again, it's still money. Still money go down the drain, and then it's still a loner next game as well.
Exactly.
Which
exactly
can always be a bit of a pain to deal with. All it takes is 1 roll to turn a game.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I think, not to put any spoilers, but I think Gnomes have started quite well in most of the divisions.
Yeah,
which has surprised me. Yeah, doing well. Sneaky good.
But starting with guard and stuff is always helpful. And then you've got the Foxes, the Edge 2 stunty. You kind of just run through everything, can't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Foxes are excellent. They are excellent. And obviously, you know what? Doid, it's not microwaved admin dice. They've been put under the grill for a little bit. You have to simmer them properly rather than microwave them. Just enough so that the 1 sticks to the bottom and the 6 points up is how you do it.
Just so it rolls badly once every 20.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, the thing is, I'd take gnomes versus chorfs. I was looking at thinking, Jesus, the gnomes could be smeared off the pitch here.
That's the result you would, if you're the gnome coach, you're very happy. So I imagine he's not upset about that at all. I would take that in a heartbeat.
But... No, exactly. And I think Dave's in the chat in one reroll 1 to score on his drive, and they both scored on the other's drive. That sounds very dramatic.
Sounds like to be fair, with how many CADs and stuff there were, it did look like the two teams were probably more bothered about just hitting each other.
Yeah, it does look that way.
And I don't blame them.
No, exactly.
But that was them. The next game we had was Skaven versus Tomb Kings. So we had No Good and No Glory versus Mummy's the Word, which was Jesper and Mitch. I played against Mitch a couple of times. He tends to be fairly good with teams that are a bit bashy, and doesn't seem to be any different here. He's got 3 CADs for himself, which is always nice, especially on Tomb Kings. And he got, I think it was enough for his Tomb Guardian to get a skill. I believe he got Break Tackle, though, which is... it'll come in handy once or twice.
You know what? I would... spoilers, I've got it on one of my treatment. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I think I'm trying to make myself feel better about the fact that I got double break tackle when randoming.
Yes.
You know what? One of the things that's going to kill Tomb Kings is their ability to move.
It's a good get out of jail card.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it really is. A strength 5 Edge 2 player once per turn.
Well, it's only a +2, isn't it? The Edge 5, I believe.
No, plus... Ooh.
I'm not too sure on Break Tackle. I don't use it myself mostly.
I can't remember whether it kicks in at strength, whether +3 kicks in, whether it's strength 5 or strength 6 now.
By +2 if their strength is 5 or more, so it is a +2. So Edge 3 is still good. With a reroll, you can't really, that's still good odds here. Yeah. But absolutely. The actual game itself, the Skavens started off a little bit early, going with some fouls. A Blitzer got a good Kaz. I don't see any injury, so I'm assuming Regen seemed to do its magic for once. So it looks like a Skeleton Lineman and a Blitzer both got a Kaz. I don't believe they did that. They don't really hit each other. It looks like the Clan Rat may have attacked the lineman and may have hurt himself. Which is always fun.
That's what Skaven do.
That's it. They tend to either run the pitch or they blow up pretty quickly.
Jesper says Regen worked, yes.
Yeah. So that probably wasn't great after the first touchdown, meaning that player that got taken out would have just came back on. So it probably was just a hard game for the Rats to really get past. It's one of their biggest weaknesses of just 4 big guys that are just going to smack you about constantly.
Yeah.
And if your dodges don't work, your dodges don't work. You can't really do much about it.
No, exactly. I think looking at this, the bit that I pulled out is the late cash on the Rat Ogre. Yes,
that is
that's
thankfully a badly hurt. Otherwise, that would have been very upsetting to see. But probably it's a case of 2 dice and uphill with a block is never bad. So you can never really go wrong as long as they don't have block. Well, you can, but it's rarer.
Exactly. Now, Jesper's put a few things in the chat. Tomb Kings did a great job. First half went all right. Snaked turn 1, second half, then double skulled turn 2. Got surrounded. Couldn't really do much after that. No, as soon as Skaven gets surrounded, you're going to struggle. You really going to struggle.
So, pretty typical. You kind of expect it when you get battered once or twice as Skaven. You kind of look at it and go, "There's not a lot I can do." Especially if your Rat Ogre gets KO'd, which is what they said in chat. So it's hard. But a 2-0 win for the Tomb Kings, which with good Kaz as well. Then the final one for Upper Crusts was the Bitewater Bruisers, which were the Blorks, versus the Grave Mistakes, which is Shambling Undead. So the Black Orcs and Shambling, this is a bashy game. This is a game you'd expect a lot of Kaz. but there was only one. It was quite a steady game, to say the least, for the two teams in terms of battering each other. There was a couple of fouls to begin with. It seems like the Blackhawk coach then grew a heart after turn 3 and stopped doing it. But it was just Goblins got 2 touchdowns. There was one badly hurt on a Goblin. That's really all about it that happened in this game. Again, probably more that happened on the tabletop. There's probably a lot of KOs. There's no way to note them down or anything, but I can imagine the Blackhawks were probably trying to fight everything on the Undead team, and the Undead were either just walking away and not really fighting not fighting everything, or the Mummies were probably on the ground a lot, which is why those 2 fouls happened early. So I expect there to have been a KO or 2 there, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the things where you look on tour play and you think, oh, not much has happened. But you look at these, oh, Jay's fallen over.
Yep, phone's dead. Sorry.
And apparently there's no KO.
It was the ghosts.
Exactly. Apparently a Blork managed a 4+ dodge to hand off and score. That's hilarious. Oh, he KO'd the troll first.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's one of those matches you almost don't expect to see a lot on tour play, because you got 2 quite high armored teams who are going to outbash each other. But like you say, there's probably a lot more happened on the tabletop than shown here.
Yeah, there we go. The phone's not down now. But no, that was the final game of the Upper Cross. It was, again, it wasn't a super Kaz game heavy. Again, knockouts were probably happening all over the place. There's not a lot you can see on tour play besides the Kaz and goals. But overall, again, you've got the Tomb Kings and the Blackhawks and the Necro all at the top. A lot of bash at the top of the league for that one. So whether it stays the same or not, we'll see. But after those elves and vampires and stuff all get a couple of skills, I'm sure that'll probably turn upside down fairly quick.
Yeah, exactly. You do. And this is a really interesting division for me because we've got so much bash. I am wondering whether the Edge coaches are going to be as doomed as I originally thought they were. Yeah,
I mean, it seems to be that way for a couple of leagues, but again, anything can happen. I mean, as when you did the greenies, I say somehow very unlucky for Terry with the dice rolls he had and stuff, and that led to me being up there. But if I wasn't there, it would have been shambling, which would have then been, again, bash teams. So it's a lot of bash.
Exactly. Should we move on to Rocky's Horrors?
Yes.
That would be me then. Yes, indeed. So, game 1 was the Lorette Tigers, which is Bretonians, against the Magisterium. I love how people name the teams, by the way. Make it as difficult as possible for me to pronounce everything. Keep it up. And that was Matt facing off against Paul Blunt. Score was 1-0 to the Chorfs, with 3-2 casualties in the favour of the Bretonians. It looks like a close game on paper, with about 11 SSP each. Julius, the Stabby Hobgoblin, scoring the game's only touchdown. The Bretonian team will certainly be smart after the loss, with 2 dead throwers, but can take some of the joy out of the contest, having the revenge with Sir Julian de Grille adding a Hobgoblin kill to his 3 casualty showing. 3 casualties in one match is impressive start, really. So definitely contender for Man of the Week, I reckon. Definitely a good start from that one. Did you guys pick up anything from tour play on those ones?
For me, it's the number of deaths here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of deaths.
That's
a rough start.
A lot of deaths.
Mm-hmm.
We've got
very rough start.
Sneaky Stabber, which is potentially replaceable. Then both throwers.
Yeah, both throwers. That's the smack in the face of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. The Bretts have received a reset. I'm not surprised that many deaths. It's almost better to just restart the team and then chalk it off. That doesn't surprise me.
No. So interesting to see the Tomb Kings get off to a fast start, but the Bretonian team's not quite as steady. So it should be interesting to see how the newer teams work out this season. So next match was the original Pranksters, which was Skaven, against the Minnesota Bite Kings, which was Underworld Denizens. So proper Skaven off in this one. That's Riffy D, who's a very well-established coach in our league and has placed very highly before. With Lizards, I believe, was his best result. So Putting Skaven in his hands is quite a scary prospect, to be honest. So the score was 2-1 to the Skaven with 5 casualties against Underworld. So I'm assuming he picked on the little green skin guys most often. So from the outside looking in, it looks like an ill-tempered game with Trev Jr. kicking things off literally by sticking the boot in on turn 1. His rampage continued until he was removed just before half-time and he'll miss next game. While I'm on the topic of self-destruction, it looked like Tusken Out and the Skaven Line Rat and Stinker for the Vikings have gained hatred of Skaven, which is interesting. So now they hate themselves. So we'll see how that works out. Slim 1-0 lead at the half. The Vikings headed into the second half with confidence, but the Pranksters scored 2 in quick succession. So it must be the loss of Trev Jr. then. You know, the spiritual leader on the pitch. Once he was off, they couldn't keep up with things. The Vikings, 7 casualties was too much for the Vikings to recover, and they've only got 7 players fit for week 2. So that's another team that's smarting. So definitely hurting after that one.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that is a really tough one for the Denizens to start off with, for the Vikings to start off like that. An AV busted gutter runner.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to go well.
No. Yeah, no, I do wonder whether or not that's going to be coming out of the team pretty quick. As you all know, I run Underworld quite a lot. As soon as that gutter runner goes down, team's pretty much dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. And I think they've gone for, I'm sure it's Roger as well, so they don't have the throw teammate option, which is one of the things with Underworld. Do you take Troll? Do you take Roger? Roger's definitely better, but having that quick score is a massive, massive threat and can't be underrated for any team.
No, so they've got the Troll in this build.
They do
still have. Well, if the gutter's replaced, then potentially got to come back. But I'll be very interested to see whether it comes back.
Definitely. Right. Moving on to one of our favourites. So we've got Garney's Gals against the the Floozies.
Oh, you know what? Let's sack off the whole stream and explain why Deutsch has lost this. Let's talk about Deutsch's loss in an hour just to rub it in.
It was definitely the dice. So, the 2-1 to the Amazons with casualties 2-1 in the favour of Michael. So it was a quiet game of 2 play recap, but I can guarantee it wasn't when you were observing it live. Everyone's favourite part-time pirate impersonator, Michael Deutsch, has never had a dull game, and his post-game press conferences are stuff of legend. Despite the pollution on and off the pitch, like air pollution and then noise pollution, because it's Michael, the Gals managed to snatch a victory with a last-ditch completion from the Grizzled Vet to the Grizzled Vet. And only one foul for Michael has people asking, is he going soft in his old age? I'll just leave that up to you.
Only one foul. I just think he's been replaced.
Yeah.
Can't be him. He's actually
spawned another child, and he's been controlled Ratatouille style.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. He's spawned the child, and he's too tired, so there's just someone in there trying to make him play better, but still losing.
I know his daughter's a better gamer than him on most times, anyway.
Exactly. He said, first match post-birth, I forgot what game I was playing.
Excuses.
Exactly.
So next up was the Black Fang, which is Orcs against the nobility team, which was Ash against Chad. Looks pretty one-sided. 2-0 to Ash with 5 casualties as well, which is rough. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I believe we've seen Ashley's Black Fangs before, and he's one of the more consistent coaches with they've got a strong team as well. So it should that might be an early front runner for the division, to be honest. It's a difficult combination. The fact he started off with 5 casualties, 23 SSP in one game, 2 touchdowns, it shows the potential because Chaz is no slouch. The Nobles are definitely hurting for next week as well. They're missing 3 players, including the Ogre, I believe, which is a big, big loss. The Fangs convert the success in his skills as well. Both Biggins now have block for week 2, so that could be a very dangerous team. I would not want to face them next week.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Chaz's team. It's not in the best state.
Yeah, you won't want to face the Ogres, but you'd want to face the Breton, nobility.
Yeah, exactly. You got 2 very different outcomes there. Down an Ogre and a Bodyguard for next round versus nothing, 3 block and a stand firm lineman.
Yeah, that's nasty team. That's a nasty team.
Quite intrigued on how that team captain would have worked for the Orcs as well, because I know it worked great for the humans. I don't know how, and it works the same, but I'm just intrigued onto how well it worked for Ash, and whether it actually brought him anything back.
Team captain, as we've talked about before, Jay, team captain is very underrated. It's going to be a massive thing in this edition. And I'd love to see how the Orcs are going to turn out at the end of the season with gaining that extra SSP for casualties. Could lead to a landslide teams for Orcs. So very, very interesting. I'm an Orc player myself, so I'm maybe slightly biased, but green skin binds, just a little bit. So next up, we have the Dark Elves against the Shambling Undead, which is the Morifying Minions. I'm going to try and pronounce all of these names. And the Boneyard Buccaneers, which was Coach Robbo versus Clem. Again, it was very one-sided towards the Shambling Undead. Dark Elves seem to be left behind a little bit. 2-0 win for Clem and 4 casualties against Robbo as well. So one-sided, and the Dark Elves only knocked up 4 SSP, which I think might be just the man of the match, which means it should be a feat, maybe.
True.
Because if there's no SSPs gained apart from the MVP, that might be a feat that we've missed. Undead got 19 SSP, and the Ghoul, brilliant name, pay attention, Bon Jovi, genius. He took centre stage, racking up a casualty, a completion, a touchdown, and then the MVP trophy, rightly so. And that's definitely a strong contender for Player of the Week. Zombie Old Friend also eliminated 2 elves before he got sent off. But luckily, the elves are looking mostly complete, and they're heading into a week 2 matchup against the Amazons that we've already mentioned. So it's one of those games where Dark Elves look okay afterwards and can just kind of put that one off as a bad day at the office and hopefully move forward. But the Shambling Undead look good in this edition as well. They seem to be, everybody's talking about how good they're going to be. So interesting. It's interesting to see where we're heading.
Yeah. Absolutely. George saying in the chat, Clem absolutely fucked his shit up. Yeah, it looks that way. It really does look that way. I think that looks like a very tough day for Robbo, but he has only come out -1 lineman.
Yeah, I think it's
right.
It's very lucky on the actual casualty dice roll.
Yeah.
The D16 has been very favourable. But
that's the thing, to take the casualties and come back next week.
Yeah.
Relatively intact. You can't really argue with that. So.
No, exactly. But yeah, Clem's Undead, they're looking strong. They're looking strong.
Mm-hmm. A lot of good looking teams in that division. Should be very interesting moving forward as well.
Yeah. Exactly. And should we move and Rats next, which I believe is you again, Alan?
Okie dokie. So Drowned Rats, I believe, isn't it? So
it is, yes.
Yes. So more names. And maybe it's just me that can't pronounce words. I mean, I am foreign, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So Philadelphia Eagles, which are Elven Unit, against Allspice Agitators, which was Dark Elf. So here goes another Dark Elf team. Let's see how they did in comparison. So it was Chris Gibbons against Dean, and unfortunately the Dark Elves lost again. So Union winning 2-1 with 3 casualties. So it's a good old-fashioned elf off, with the Union taking the win with a last-minute score to break the deadlock. The Dark Elves might have scored early in the first half, but they left the door open. After taking 3 casualties by the match end, the Union had enough manpower to force the ball home and snatch the win. Both teams emerged unscathed, and predictions for the top half finish for both are very much in play. So strong teams, it's whether they can survive. With else, that's always the thing. If you can come out relatively unscathed, you're going to score touchdowns. It's just keeping your team in one piece and moving on from there. So they're definitely both in with a chance going forward, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. You haven't got any, there's no real losses on either side. The Union are looking very good, but again, we've already got 3 elite skills there, and it's going to start racking up. Dean saying we've got the first KO on a catcher, but took more KOs than Cash as the match went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes wish that tour play would track KOs so we could get a better view, but I guess people aren't looking into it in as much detail as we are usually, or have done for this. So
exactly.
But
yeah, apparently Fumblebrewski is mad good. Now, Dean, I am really intrigued. You're saying it's hard to defend against. Did Chris actually use it? Or were you just so panicked by how good a skill it is?
It's like hypnogaze. You see it and you're like, I can't play.
Exactly. Yes. To which one though, Dean? You just said yes.
Both. To both.
I want to do a mad stretch play with ogres, so like throw teammate fumble risky, hand it off. There's definitely something there. I just need to get my head around it. So there definitely could be fun things to do. So
exactly. Apparently, he got around the Delphs by using it. Very well done, Chris.
Nasty.
Very
Nasty.
well done.
Right. Next game's a bit of a stormer, to be honest. It's Ghouls Gathering, which is the undead team, against Zulu Boys. So we've got Dodge Ed versus Moritz. It's a 2-2 draw with the 2-3 on casualties. So absolute classic game. Undead versus Orcs. Lots of death, lots of punching, lots of possibly even regens. A beautiful game. So that is really what I call Blood Bowl. It's 5 scores in total. Sorry. 4 scores in total, 5 casualties, 3 fouls, sending off and a throw teammate shenanigans. What more could you want from one game? Very little separated teams, with Orcs having a slight edge leaving the game. Orcs are sneaky good in this edition, with the team captain and extra SSP from casualties, which we've mentioned earlier. But is that my bias to greenskin showing? Am I gluing goblins as we speak? One day, I hope for a greenskin alliance where you can make up a really mad team full of just different Orcs. We've got Underworld Alliance, why not? But that is just a daydream right now.
Yeah, that looks like a match I really wish I'd seen, and
One
not
is
just
if you
because
were
I'm
there
going to
in
be
person.
facing both of them later on. But I bet that looked like a real tactical challenge. That one, really, really interesting. And yeah, the Orcs got quite a few skills coming out of that.
Yeah, Orcs are looking good across the board. So
they really are.
Definitely. So next up, another classic matchup. We've got Dwarfs against Bretonian, which is Carrick Kings against the Unladen Swallows. Good name. Very nice name. Which is Coach Joe against A Chris of Undetermined Nature. Just one of the Chris's. 2-0 score for A Chris with 1-1 casualties.
Sorry, Alan. You're suggesting they're not just one person.
Yeah, I think so,
he actually just rolled against himself. He just kept running around the table.
If we were allowing that, Michael would be there every night. We know that for a fact. So
no. He doesn't get to trash talk himself. Doesn't get to trash talk himself, so he wouldn't do that.
Can you imagine what that man's internal monologue's like?
Probably tell himself to concede constantly.
So anyway, moving on. So it's a quiet game on 2-play recap with not that the Swallows mind. They kicked off the season with a comprehensive 2-0 victory. However, Coach Birch's vertically challenged Burley Boys did manage to knock out 2 Bretonians out of the next match. Can the Dwarfs rumble to a result in week 2 against the Ghouls, while the Swallows need to avoid another beatdown against Tomb Kings? So I think both teams have got tough matches coming up next, so it'll be interesting to see how they move on from that first match. So Bretonians looking good.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look at the Dwarfs. They've come out of it unscathed, but without really any development.
Yeah.
Standard Dwarfs there.
Yeah, exactly. It's slow builders. But the Bretts are down a Grail Knight and strength busted Grail Knight. Which is good for Chris. Yeah, that's going to sting.
That's gonna have to be a remove and rebuy, I think.
It is. And at the moment, he doesn't have enough money. 20k short because they are not a cheap team. So
no.
Hopefully next game he doesn't have to field him.
Well,
that's the one benefit of it being missing.
Yeah, very true. Do we class that as a bit of a Pyrrhic victory? Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, then next up we've got the Hobnobblers, which is the gnome team against, I'm not even going to pronounce that Norse team, but it's a Norse team with Y's in it. So I don't know if you want to have a stab at it, Tom, as it was your team that faced them.
I'm presuming Igmir's Immortals.
I would say yes,
guess.
But
yeah.
I'm not even going to try. So yeah, and that was Matt's team. A 3-0 win for the Gnomes again, and a 2-0 up on casualties as well. I don't know what's happening with Norse in this edition, but a lot of people are saying that they're broken, so like badly broken. So the Gnomes get an impressive win again, outbashing the Raging Vikings. A solid chunk of SSP for the pint-sized problems, proving again that players painted by the league tend to outplay the players they're based on. 2 scores for the Foxy Charlie Banks and 1 for the Artful Dodger. The Gnomes seem to run away with it, especially with 2 Norse seeing red and spending the rest of the game in the sin bin. Did the sending offs make a big difference, Tom?
They did. To be honest, it was Matt's dice that I think made the difference here. My dice rolled very hot at the start, and I mean, you can see it. He managed to go an entire match onto basic gnomes with no casualties. His dice just
because you put them in the microwave before the game, didn't you? You
Oh,
just
no,
tell the truth.
absolutely.
And that's
Yeah,
why they were
yeah.
hot for the first half. The second half, they cooled down, and that was it.
No, absolutely. If you ask at Sanctuary, they've got a special grill.
Yeah.
You can just give them a bit of a warm up. But I think I would be really interested to see a dice log from this match, because it felt like Mats were just failing him. I think they were about. I feel like they probably evened out over the match, but when they did fail, they failed hard, and it really, really hurt him. And they failed at bad times as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? If you get the wrong roll at the wrong time, that's it. Game over. Good night. Go home.
Literally,
So it's
Not like you can do about
very
it.
tough. Yeah.
No, there was
Yeah.
nothing he was doing with those dice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, Gnomes are an interesting team. I mean, my biggest loss was against Gnomes. It was 5-0. It was at a tournament, and I had to just go outside for a while and just listen to music and lie on a hill and contemplate my life. So yeah, it was a difficult one. So
Role players at home,
we
yeah.
finished. Yeah, I just went away. I just put in my headphones, listened to the Melvins until the world was right again. So it was a tough one. So I have PTSD about Gnomes now, I'm afraid. So next game was the Trashing Pumpkins again. Very nice name, which is Necromantic and then against Mummy Issues. So Undead. So that is Tomb Kings, which was Paul against Rob Hardwick. So 2-0 win for Paul, who again is a very, very good coach with a very nice looking team here. So 3-2 casualties in Rob's favour. So it looks like a game that possibly a lot of regen with more casualties than there were injuries. Both teams looking ahead with a full complement of players too. Quite an even matchup with the Snake grabbing a couple of scores, which proved enough for a gap. Both coaches will be eyeing up a top half finish with previous season's records, and who could blame them? They're both good coaches. They know what they're doing. They're no slouches, and they both got good teams in the current meta as well. So it's a shame, almost a shame they faced each other this early, because it could have been a real stormer towards the end of the season when they've got a bit more skills. So they might be quite glad they got rid of each other early so they can have a nice run in towards the end. But both two teams that I expect to do well this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, they are two teams which I'm not looking forward to facing.
Yeah, one team that's got very high strength, and the other one that even at the beginning has really good skills like claws and stuff. Is just can never say no to it.
No, exactly. So they are going to be top contenders. They really are.
Who knows? Gnomes can beat anyone on the day, so
True.
just don't know.
Exactly. And so, last of the mid-league dime bars.
That was myself again. So first game, we had Alan's game. We had the Hotchland Rifles, which was run by Jonathan, which is a new player, I believe, versus Grim Hollow Grubs, which was the Lizardman.
Better.
Obviously I have a bit of bias towards Lizardmen. They're one of my favourite teams, if not my favourite. But I do think they're probably a little bit underwhelming now. So a 2-2 draw, I believe Alan and me have spoke about this a bit. He was happy with the 2-2 draw from his own point of view. Especially with the fact that the Skinks just got battered early. Like nearly every other turn, it seemed like a skink had gone. And he was left with, it was one skink after the half. You can't, there's not a lot you can do with the skinks, but there was a Saurus touchdown, which doesn't tend to happen very often. So that's always nice to see. Good SPP for a Saurus. Especially because they're not, unlike Blackhawks, they're not bruisers. They don't get free SPP for Kaz, they get it for touchdowns. Which seems a little bit odd. I mean, I guess it makes sense for the skinks, but you want the skills on your Saurus usually. But humans, again, getting a result that probably wouldn't have been as possible on the previous edition. You'd have had more blitzes, which may have helped with the bash a bit, but I think those extra rerolls they're going to be very useful. And the pro skill, Alan can attest to it. I imagine it came in handy a couple of times in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think he rolled 10 rerolls against my 4 over the course of the game, because he had 4 to start with, and he got 2 back throughout, which is fairly right for the dice roll. So it's a really tough team to overcome, and I think humans in anything with the team captain skill is going to be quite formidable. I was, like I said, I was lucky to come out of that with the draw, Both my touchdowns were low probability. And it was just perhaps a little bit, he left my Saurus open, not thinking that I would. He was in a difficult choice because either do you base my Saurus and then I smack you, or do I go for the touchdown with the Saurus? But it was. It's one of those. It was a slim chance, but it came off. He was kind enough to remind me that I hadn't actually used my reroll so that I could score with my Saurus, which is very nice of him. So yeah, thoroughly good game. Really enjoyed it. We both come away happy from the match, but I did feel like I got away with one. Really,
it did look like a fun game.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, very
just looking at your team there, Alan. 2 Mighty Blowsaurus.
That'll be helpful for later, especially with the next couple of teams. Because in the next game, we have the Pro Elves, or Elven Union, the Edel Spires, which was played by Matt, versus the Averheim Mighty Bucks, which is Imperial Nobility, done by Richard. These are where the Mighty Blow will come in handy later. Against the Elves and stuff, you'll get a couple of SPP there. But this game, both teams got 2 Kaz each. Nothing to say about the blood period of the games. They're both kind of average things. I mean, there's 2 elves missing next game, which is not great. One of them being an elf thrower as well is never a fun player to be missing for pro elves, especially when you've got 2 catchers who don't have someone to throw them the ball now. But the pro elves still managing to get 3 touchdowns fairly quickly. I say fairly quickly. They got 1 in turn 8, which would have been their half, and then seemingly got the ball back, scored turn 13, and then scored turn 16. It didn't seem like a great game for Richard. It looked like one of those that it was either the dice rolls didn't go his way, or the elves just do what elves do best, and you can't catch them. They just run for everything, and you have to sit there and watch them do it, and just have daydreams about absolutely smashing the teeth in.
Yeah.
But other than that, a fairly good game for the elves. Again, Imperial Nob struggled a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the temptation here for me is just to make a series of knob jokes, but I'm going to try. Yeah. I'm so glad you held back there, Jay. I'm really impressed because I just would have made a series of knob jokes about Rich's team. But you know, the elves coming out of it without their thrower. It's not great. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. But it's as if they need be can still pass on a 3, so they're doing all right. Yeah. And there's no permanent injuries on the knobs either. Yeah. But they haven't come out with it with much SPP is the only thing. So they haven't got a huge amount of it development wise. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, you definitely take that result as an elf coach. I mean, 3-0 win, and then again, you have so many armor 8 pieces, you expect to lose at least 3 or 4 probably throughout the game. Like, you know, I mean, there's not really many games where you're playing as a coach, like elves especially or stuff, you expect to lose more than probably like 6, 7 type of thing. You'd lose that, like...
Alan, don't.
you'd probably lose quite a few. But there's games that can happen that happens, which we have one later in the league. But onto the next one, we had Nurgle versus Skaven, which was Agility and Spirit, which was Nurgle, which was they were ran by Alec. And we had Warpstone Warblers, which was ran by Ben. I mean, we all know like how these kind of games usually go. You'd expect the Nurgle to either get a hold of the Skaven, batter them, that's it. The Skaven explode, they can't do anything else. But it kind of looked like the Skaven, although they had a couple of Kaz against them, it seems like it happened later in the game. So it allowed them to be rats and just run around them constantly, get at least 2 touchdowns in from the gutter runners. And then after that, the blowers started doing their jobs properly. They began to actually knocking stuff down, hurting them, keeping them out. There's not a lot you can do after you lose a couple of players. You kind of have to just hold the pushback. And that seems to be what the Rats did. They only got 1 more against them, but then proceeded to lose 2 more. One from a Kaz, and it seems like the other one may have failed a dodge roll. Either the Blitzer or the gutter runner failed a dodge roll. Not too sure which one. Knowing how Blood Bowl goes, it was probably the gutter runner double one in. That tends to be the case. But no, it's a good game and a good MVP as well for both sides. One on a bloater and one on a rat ogre. You can't really complain, especially with the random skills now you can do. You could random most skills and you'd be quite happy on both of those sides, especially strength or general. So a good game for the Rats. They managed to hold their own and managed to keep it as a 2-1.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. this matchup, the Skaven either run rings around you or they get punched to nothing. I'd be very happy as a Skaven coach here,
Yes,
coming out with only badly hurts.
Yeah, you'd be very happy. I mean, 2 prayers to Nuffle as well. Again, wonder how handy they were, whether they helped a lot or whether they were just a bit useless, simply put. But again, anything could have happened, and thankfully the Skaven were able to actually get a couple of goals before they got absolutely hammered. Unlike, again, it seems like in the other leagues, the Skavens have had a bit of a battering. So it's nice to see one Skaven coach somehow able to not get absolutely mauled to death.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think, is this going to be the season where Alec doesn't have his mid-season slump? He starts off in a slump and then rises. Is he reverting it? Who knows?
I'm sure it's NOBBL, isn't it? You want a couple of skills before you start to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we had, so this game had the most casualty out of any game, and only one coach got them. So we had Minor Inconvenience, which was Dwarves, which were ran by Steve Cross, and then we had It's Not Gonna Happen, which was Snotlings, ran by Andy Keelan. This is kind of what you'd expect. You had the Snotlings were fouling quite often, trying to just maybe get a couple of players off the pitch, get rid of something just to make a bit of space for themselves. They managed to get 1 injury, but the problem is, I don't think it was enough. I mean, it clearly wasn't. 9 Cas for the Dwarves, and one of them must have been on a troll at regen by the looks of it, because it was only 8 injuries put down. So it's a rough game. It's a rough game for anyone, but as a Snotling coach, I imagine Andy kind of went into that going, I know I'm going to lose a lot of players. I know I'm going to be hurt quite a bit, but I'm aiming to either get some people back or maybe just some SPP. And he got 2 SPP, so it's not the worst. Could have got 0, and then just an MVP. But I imagine he definitely wanted probably a bit more. But the other thing to notice is a lot of those players that were taken out are mainly badly hurt. He's not really missing anything.
Yeah.
No,
So
both teams are looking, they're
still healthy.
Yeah.
And I think the Dwarves' next game are Shambling Undead, which it's going to be a rough one for the Shambling. I think that with skills now on them.
If they both kill each other, I'd be very happy with that. That'd be good, because I don't fancy facing the Dwarfs at all.
I can imagine if you've been in that league, you probably would be. But no.
I spoke to Andy shortly after the match, and he was full of smiles. He was back to loving the game. He enjoyed every second of it. So, although it looks like on paper you got absolutely done over,
well,
he walked away with a smile on his face. So,
in fairness, he should walk away with a smile. He was in the game himself. He was playing.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
They took the star player, the Goose, and he was
Goose.
actually running around part of the game. I mean, he did get smacked on turn 5, and he was removed permanently. But those 4 turns he was there, he must have had a bit of a laugh.
If I know Andy, I guarantee he was just throwing them at everybody that moved. So
yeah, I think he said before the game he's going to throw himself at people and just hope for Kaz.
Yeah, that was literally what he was doing. I did have a little peek at their match before mine. And to be fair, at one point, I think Andy had KO'd a few Dwarves, and it was starting to look a little bit iffy. But then I'm presuming Steve brought his special dice out and got them rolling again.
Yeah, as they tend to do.
Exactly. But I'll be honest, Steve, only 9 casualties in your first game.
It is a little bit of a letdown.
It is a little bit of a letdown.
Double digits would have been nice.
Exactly. You are letting yourself down.
I think for that we should remove all of his SPP and start him again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But on to the final game now. This is the one I myself was very excited for. I didn't get to see it, unfortunately, because I wasn't there. But I know both the coaches, Nathan and Starkey, or Chris. Chris is the one who got me into Blood Bowl, to be fair. So I kind of expected to see a bit of a good game here, which I don't think either of them really let down with that. But you had the Morning Blues, which was Shambling, which was Chris. And you had the Awkward 4, which were Orcs, obviously, with Nathan. Both got a lot of Kaz. The Orcs got 4 with only 2 injuries on the Undead side, which is again a couple of regen. However, there was 1 death. Not great. I believe it was just a zombie though. It wasn't anything. Yeah, it was just a random zombie. It was last pick Pete, last pick for a reason. But no, it was 2-1 to the Orcs. It seems that Nathan got a touchdown on turn 8. Chris managed to get one a bit quicker after that turn 12. I assume to try and then get a second one after, just to try and make the most of it. But Ben was able to then score 4 turns later with his blitzer, making it 2-1 to him. But both teams gaining from that, the bruiser side of things. I know, so the Orcs are bruiser, so they get SVP, but the Shambling Undead don't seem to have it, which I feel is a little bit strange. For a team that's built mainly to be smacking, 2 strength 5 pieces with Mighty Blow, your blitzers they're decently fast, but they're not as fast as like humans or Skaven. You probably expect them to be able to get that free SPP on his. So if they had that, there would have probably been a bit more of a closer tie on the SPP side of things. But a good game between the two of them by the looks of it. And I imagine they were both smiling as they were kicking the absolute snot out of each other. So
yeah, I can't imagine anything less. I think the fact is the only thing that's really come out of there, one death. Yeah, it's a zombie.
yeah,
Death's
you'd be
overrated
happy with
for
that.
them. Yeah, I don't think death's really going to affect them anyway.
It's just a zombie, isn't it? If it was anything else, if it was a ghoul or if it was a big one, like one of the bigger guys, you'd probably be a little bit upset. With what it is, you'd be smiling with that one. You'd be very happy with that.
Exactly. So moving on to the reserves. Let's start off with match between Paige and the commissioner himself. 1-1 draw between the Imperial Nobility and Tomb Kings. Now this looks like a very, very even match between them. Tomb Guardian getting the early cash, again only badly hurt. Bodyguard returning the favour pretty quickly. It just looked like traded casualties those first few turns to get them off there pretty quickly. And then ending 1-1. It looks like a very, very even match between the two of them and a solid start for both teams. Alistair's knobs, felt very weird saying that, but that's cool. Hit and run on a blitzer. All right.
Could be good.
Could be good. And then guard on the bodyguard, which I think is the one from this match. What? It's not a bad start for the posh knobs. And then look at the Sandy Skulls coming out with it. Oh, the Mighty Blow Tomb Guardian. That is a very, very nice pickup. Very nice pickup for Paige there. So that's going to help her fly quite well. It's a solid start for both teams. Solid start. And I'm guessing again they're likely to have just had a lot of fun there. And we're moving on. So we got to Seriously Outmatched. Very nice name, Matt. Well done. To the Baltimore Ravens. Again, Clem with another good match. That's Clem winning both matches in reserves and the main league this season. So far in this season, I think Clem's coming on as a coach very nicely. And it's another 3-0 loss for Matt there. I do feel like this is a bit of a pattern for the Bretonians, though. There's something about them that they're just not as good as they look on paper. And I know they're the new things, and I'm really pleased to see people trying them out. There's something about them that's just not... It's not clicking. Whatever it is, it isn't clicking with people so far. And maybe it's just that they're that new. Who knows?
Tomb Kings have started strongly, but Bretonians are definitely seem a bit different.
I think they've got the same kind of problem as the corn and stuff, which is you've got those pieces that are very important and they normally do the job, but you've got your linemen who are they're only movement 6, strength 3, armor 8. You're not really you're going to lose most fights against most linemen with that. And although you have wrestle, that's great. You still go down on the ground. You're still opening spots. It's you want to wrestle most of the time because you don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It's not incredible. And just to make things worse for Matt as well, and this, to be fair, this may well have been one of the big reasons as what happened.
Yeah.
Turn 1, Adge busted, Night Catcher. It's probably a dead catcher as well, unfortunately. If they can't catch the ball, they can't really do it. MNG on Squire as well, but that's not the end of the world. Dead zombie going back the other way, but again, yeah, zombie. It's not too bad. I think it's a really rough start, a really tough start for Matt with that edge busted knight. If the edge busted catches, so it'll be very interesting to see whether or not he keeps him on. But what I did find interesting, more Dauntless.
Yeah.
More Dauntless, which I mean, I like it. I really leaning into the narrative around the Bretonians there. So now got a squire with Dauntless, a second squire with Dauntless, I should say. So yeah, I mean, Matt, I'm very impressed by that pick.
Yeah, it'll be great for the Blackhawk game. They've probably got at some point in the future. Or they're saying that the Blackhawks are gone now.
The Blackhawks have gone, and Matt's moving on to face the Amazons next. Which, to be fair, there's a couple of strength 4 pieces in there.
Yeah, could be useful.
Yeah, not awful, not awful. So far, Clem hasn't added any more skills in there, but it's got a decent spread of SPP throughout. The Wolf could maybe take random if he really wanted to, but it's just a bit of a solid start for him, and he moves on to Chaos Chosen. But 3-0 win at the cost of a dead zombie. Yeah, good start for Clem. Good start for Clem. And another rough one for Matt there. Then we have Simon with the Fumble-Fated Frostbiters, fantastic name, and the Black Hide Bludgeoneers with Raymond. Now it's the Bludgeoneers, hope I'm saying that right, who are moving up into the main league. So this is their one and only match in the reserves. Ended in a 1-0 win for Norse. Now, I mean, this is going to be a tough. This is always going to be a really tough start for Blackhawks, as we know, even from other seasons. Blackhawks are a slow team. They are always going to be a slow starter. And coming up against a team that's got all block when you've got Brawler, it's not awful.
But it could be better.
It could be much, much better. And I think the Norse are going to be very happy with having only come out with 2 cash there. And if we look through it, it's badly hurt on a Blackhawk fairly early on, which may have turned the game a little bit there. There's a dead Berserker, though, on the Norse, which is not great.
He got Kaz as well.
He did. So he got the casualty, and then he paid the price. And unfortunately, at the moment, there is not enough cash to replace the Berserker.
That one Berserker had all the SPP there.
And then dead. So you look at it and think, oh, cool, it's a win. Is it a win in the long run for the Norse? Yeah, it's not amazing for them. I think that's an very unlucky death for them.
I think the Yeti MVP kind of thankfully fixes the sorry, not Yeti MVP, the Valkyrie MVP fixes the whole Berserker kind of dying. Doesn't fix it entirely, but it's a nice little good side to it.
Exactly. He's getting something out of it.
Yeah.
Now, then moving on, we have the one and only outing for the NOBBL admin mystery opponent team, with Raymond moving up to even up the numbers. The admin team's dropping out. So we've still got the even numbers, so no one else has to drop out there. A 2-2 draw against the Top Knots and Carl. Yes, Deutsch, Carl did very well there versus Blunt. However, Carl, if you're listening, I have a bone to pick with you. You niggled me. You gave me a niggling injury. Now, you're not in my league, but I think we're going to need to have words. You niggled me, you strength busted Brett, and you made Greenskin Phil miss next game. So, I mean, it's impressive. I'll give you that. Now, this match was going on the table next to me whilst I was playing Matt, and it sounded like an end-to-end, very good, excitement match. Now, it says sorry. Fantastic. No, I think by the sounds of it, I deserved it. When Paul was playing, I think he had to call me over because I snaked a pickup that could actually cost him the game. So the fact I was then niggled, I think he was all right with. He was all
To be
right
fair,
with.
that's probably the most remorse I've ever seen from an Orc coach. Just the word sorry alone is enough.
Exactly. They can do it. You could have a word about it on Tuesday. But you know what? We've come out. Your team is looking. These Orcs are looking very nice.
Block and guard on a big one.
Block and guard on a big one already. And because they start with Mighty Blow, they're done.
Yeah.
What else do you
You
need from
kind
them?
of just save the SVP and get a stat up and make him strength 5 at a point.
Yeah, exactly. That there's literally nothing else you need. 2 Mighty Blow on there as well. Oof. Yeah, that is a very, very nice one. And NOBBL admin team, obviously, they're not coming back. And to be honest, if it was me that had to pilot them next time round, I'm kind of glad they're not. There's
Yeah.
not much. There's
Had a
not
bit of a
much
smacking.
Yeah, they had a bit of a punch in. There's not a lot of a team left there. But like I say, they are dropping out to even up the numbers. Now the Orcs are going to move on to face Paige next, and I can't remember off the top of my head who Paige is running. Let's have a look. Paige running Tomb Kings. Yeah, that guard's going to be useful. That guard is going to be very, very useful against them. So that is a very good, very well timed pickup there for the Orcs. And now the Moussalon Man-Biters, Gaz, I hope I'm saying that right, versus the Necromancers. And Liv, I apologise. That's the first time I've actually read that name out loud and realised how good it is. So well done. That's very good. 3-1 win for the Vamp. Well, for the Vamps, it's a Vamp off. 3-1 win for the Moussalon Man-Biters. A Vamp off is really, really interesting contest here. Surprisingly bloodless. And that's not a pun intended. You've got a Thrall missing next game on one side, a Thrower for the Man-Biters, MNG, with a hatred of undead, so another player that hates themselves.
Bad week for throwers.
Bad
Running
week for throwers.
theme for that, isn't it?
Exactly, it really is. Now that is a tough one to lose, despite the victory. Losing your thrower for a match. Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one for them. And I think Gaz is moving into Norse as well. So without you're down a Vamp and you're into Norse,
It can be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one. They're still Vamps. They are still Vamps. And in all honesty, despite the result, if you look at the two teams, Gaz down 1 Thrall, whatever. But down that Thrower for a match, and it gets a niggle.
In fairness, looked like he only needed the runner because he scored 2 touchdowns in 4 turns.
Well, exactly. And 3 overall in one match. Now they're dodge and leap on the runner.
Yep.
You know what? Very nice. Very nice. And Liv comes out pretty much unscathed.
Random sure hands and block on a Thrall as well was pretty lucky on there.
Yeah.
The
Exactly. But Liv coming out with a Mighty Blow Blitz, which you had before. Save pass on the Thrower, surprisingly useful. Catch on a runner, which is, you know what, very nice. Mighty Blow on the Varkheist.
Yeah, that's essentially just the Corns.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of them.
Bloodspawn.
That's it. It's basically just a Bloodspawn now, but
yeah,
it's got more armor. That's a scary piece.
That is a scary, scary piece. Now they are a struggle to get going. They can be a real struggle to get going. Yes. So that is a very good MVP. So despite the loss, I'm looking at the two teams and thinking maybe Liv's come out slightly better with it. Maybe the luck is spread with the permanent injuries there. But both teams looking decent. Both of them looking quite well. And Liv moves on to play Alistair's nobility. Going to say Alistair's knobs then again. And there's something about that saying about the commissioner. I don't know what it is, but just don't need that image. Sorry, Alistair. That's just something about that feels wrong. But yeah, he's moving on to face the nobility next. So that Mighty Blow. Yeah. That's potentially going to come in clutch. So Alistair, I would be a little bit wary of that. Now moving on to a 4-1 win for the Pirates versus the Amazon Goddesses. This one, two pretty new coaches, both new to the league and both fairly new to Blood Bowl. I didn't have a clue how this one was going to go. I was looking at it beforehand being like, you know what? Zons could run away with this and control the whole pitch. Skaven can do Skaven stuff and run away.
Yeah.
Skaven got it in the end. And coming out with the 2 cash as well, 23 SPP overall is very, very nice. And looking through it, a niggle on a line woman. You know what? Fine, that's not
You
too
take
bad.
that.
What is not good though is there's a dead Jaguar warrior.
Eey.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yes. So Heather, that is rough. That is really, really rough. They are looks like your best pieces and going to a death, and what looks like a death on turn 16.
Yeah,
And
from a gutter runner.
From a gutter runner as well. So part of me feels sorry. And no, all of me feels sorry. The only reason I don't is I love Skaven that much, is the thing. So Amazon's moving on to Matt's Brett's, who have very beaten up team, but with you down a Jaguar Warrior, it's going to be a very interesting one. But you do still have your block and wrestle pieces.
Expensive to replace the Warriors, the Jaguar Warriors as well, aren't they? So yeah, they are pricey.
Yeah,
110k is going to hurt.
That's really is going to hurt. The Pirates. Yeah, she's going to have to. There's no two ways around it. You need it. You need it. You just have to get through the next match and hope you get enough money from it and go from there. The Pirates, though, lead thrower, now a sprint runner, which is lovely. The next other gutter runner is very close to getting it as well. Block Clan Rat. Ooh.
Essentially a third blitzer, just without the strip ball.
Yeah, exactly. One less movement and no strip ball. They are looking pretty tasty. And I'm guessing this is what Terry wished had happened in your match. Exactly. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they go from there. Then we have 2 matches left. A 3-2 win, Chaos Chosen versus Gnomes with the 8-fold slaughter. That is a fantastic badge with Matt. And Starkey's Gnomes, the Sanctuary Mossbacks. This looked like a fun match. This looked like a very, very fun match. 7 cash on the Chosen side against 3 for the Gnomes. So the Chosen have picked up a lot and the Gnomes exploded like you expected them to. It's very interesting. Early cash on alignment earlier on. And then they just were flowing. But you only got badly hurt. Gnome Lineman did get a Beastman off at the end. I think, in all honesty, the only permanent one coming from that is the -1 passing on Leif Eriksson, a known lineman. And that's pretty much it. Let me have a look through, unless I'm missing something, because it does appear a niggle. No, they look like the one of the Beastmen had a niggle. Oh no, they do. I've just missed it. Oh, hatred to Treeman. There you go. This Chosen team, Chosen, as we all know, are another slow starter. They are a very tricky team to get going. Block.
Yeah,
Baller,
that's
kick.
The best you can get, really.
Yeah. You know what? They are looking good. They're looking very nice. It's a very, very good start for Matt. And Matt's going to face up against Clem next round. That's going to be a very, very close match because two teams, Chaos Chosen versus Clem's, I believe, was he Orcs? I can't quite remember off the top of my head. That's going to be a really tight match. And
yeah, it was horror. Clem was playing horror.
That was it. Yes, up against Necro. So that's going to be a really interesting match. And Starkey, you know what? You've come through with only 1 permanent injury, which as Gnomes,
guard on a tree as well.
Yeah, guard on a tree, multiple block on the other one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game had the most SPP out of every single game in NOBBL.
Quite possibly. Let's have a look back.
Yeah, last week.
48 SPP total, which is a little bit ridiculous. But no, that looked like an absolutely hilarious game. And neither of them come out particularly broken. So, you know what? If I was you, Starkey, I'd take it. I'll absolutely take that. Your gnomes, you're going to struggle anyway. And Matt, you know what? 3-2 win and a lot of cash. It's a great, great start for both of you.
Yeah. I mean, we say gnomes are going to struggle. The gnomes seem to be doing well in the other leagues.
Yeah, they seem to be doing all right. And now our final match.
A goblin off.
A goblin off. Josh with the, oh my God, what? Whizgits throwable goblin biscuits. Biscuits, I think is how you're supposed to say it. If that is, that's wonderful. Versus the Boulders. Both very good names. 1-0. Now, I kind of have a bone to pick with both of you. A goblin off. 5 injuries between you both. 5.
Expect a bit more.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot more going on there, but 5 cash.
I'd say there's 5 Predator Knuffles.
Exactly. So it looks like someone overdogged on the Predator Knuffle to get them in. 5 Predator Knuffle. Going to be interesting how they went off. Now, what I haven't done is counted the fouls in this match, which is could be very interesting.
Looks like it's only 2.
There's 2. I've got 4, but it does look like Josh potentially wasn't recording them.
Yeah.
Because obviously they don't do the SPP.
Yes.
Now, Josh comes out with it. Yeah, pretty unscathed. Sure feet pogoer, guard troll, and a strong arm troll. Dirty player on the lineman. Still, you know what? Pretty good. John. Your troll. His troll died. This is the death of the troll. So my chainsaw managed to succeed 2 out of 5 attacks, but that was balanced by me also not breaking with anything else either. One of those, I see. Not for lack of trying. So there's that, and also your Doom Diver's got a niggle. So not only did you lose 1-0, a dead troll and a niggled Doom Diver. Your next match is going to be interesting. So John, you're facing off against the Gnomes. And Josh is coming up against Skaven. So, a Skaven team that's looking good as well. Going to be very interesting. But you have 290,000 in inducements. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's that the fact this is the rat ogre that's going to be scary against that one troll now. Instead of having 2 trolls to fend off against it, that one troll versus the rat ogre, it's one of them is definitely more reliable.
Yes, exactly.
With the inducements, I'd fancy the goblins though, because you can get something good with that. So it soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's not the end of the world. Goblins expect to take the losses. I think it's the dead troll that's the stinger. That is the real stinger there. So takes us to the end of the match roundups. Just have a quick look at the tables. Now, Jay, because you've named your team after all Manchester United players, I don't even want to say you're top of the table. Sorry.
Shame you can't do it in real life.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So technically, you are top of the table. However, George is matching you on points. Chris and Stephen following closely behind.
I'm due a rematch against George, to be fair. First ever game when I joined NOBBL was against him, and I double scored on my first roll, and he battered me. I think it was 3-0. It was not a pleasant experience. So I'm hoping for some revenge.
Exactly. Get the revenge and see things. But you are playing Manchester United. No, I can't support you. I'm sorry, Jay.
And I need to beat Chris Taylor as well because I lost to him last time. So I've got 2 people I want to beat. 2 revenge stories.
And upper crusts. Mummy's the word. Mitch sitting at the top at the moment. We have the Black Orcs in second. Decent. I mean, obviously we're still very, very early, so this table's going to shift quite a lot.
Yes.
Rocky Horrors, Ash and Clem sitting on 5 with Orcs and Undead. The Skaven in 4 though, so they are catching up. Largely got Bash teams at the top. Then the Drowned Rats, the Mighty Hobnobblers, who currently are sitting on 5 points, of course, followed by the Union and the Bretts, and Necro all on 4. So, it's very, very tight still at the top. No surprise at all. Mr. Cross at the top with his 29 SPP win. Come on, we thought we were penalising you by making you play dwarf slightly. So don't show us up now. But Matt Baker just behind it with Elven Union, and then Nathan following closely behind that. And then looking at the reserves, Clem and Matt at the top, followed by Jack, Simon, Josh, and Gaz all on 4. Like we say, this is still very much early stages, and there is everything to play for.
So you two are at the top of the tables, respectively.
Yes, we are.
So I'll just leave then, shall I? I'll just go now.
Do you want me to point out where you are, Alan, or is this?
Yes.
Where are
you're
mid-table?
It could be worse. Yeah, you're not at the bottom. To be fair, after losing 9 Stotlings in the game, if he had done better than you in the game, I do think it would have been a bit of a concern, Alan.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting one when I meet Andy's team. That'll be a very good day. So yes,
there will be
an interesting one.
I expect a lot of fouls, at least both each turn.
There will be no scores. There will just be fouls.
There will just be death.
Yes.
No, you are right though. Anything can happen. I mean, I have myself. I've got a couple of favourites. I think that are probably going to be top of the tables on each of them. But besides my own, I've not really thought about my own. I'm kind of just hoping that my team doesn't blow up one game. So, but it's definitely bash heavy early, but that tends to be the case. Give it a game or two, the Edge teams will get a couple of skills. You'll see a couple of Elf games that are like 7-0 or something fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm in a very similar position in that obviously I had an incredibly successful season last time round. This season, I can't. This is the only time you're going to see the gnomes at the top. It's just how it's going to be, because sooner or later someone's going to come along and smush the living hell out of them. Yeah,
as soon as armor rolls go, you are struggling.
Exactly. So that brings us to the end of this week's roundup. Yes, Dean, on Tuesday, I remember the deal that I will let you win so long as you make sure to mark my trees, so I can give them and give some of your elves a nice punch. That's fine by me.
Is that match fixing I'm hearing beforehand?
No, not at all.
It's just admin stuff. It's admin stuff. Don't worry about it.
It's all secret. So thank you very much for listening. Jay, Alan, any final thoughts on this round from you two before we head off?
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm at top of the table. I don't expect to be there long. It was great while it lasted.
Yeah. Should we just end the league here?
I'm happy. Listen, I'm more than happy.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Yeah, we're ending after one match.
The only time we'll ever be top at table, so I'll take it.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Jay. Thank you very much, Alan. This will be going on to YouTube as well, so for anyone who's missed it, you can catch it up on there. And we will see you in 3 weeks' time. Obviously, there is other content available via BloodbowlLive if you want to head onto there. We are going to be doing this for NOBBL every few weeks, but we've got the New Dice Please podcast, and I'm sorry for the shameless promotion, which I'm sure you're all probably sick of by now. So we've got the podcast, which comes out weekly. There are a lot of live tabletop games currently going on if you're wanting to watch them with the Aardvarks and Dragons Blood Bowl League taking place in Suffolk. There's a lot of tabletop streaming going on there, so make sure to follow along if you fancy that there. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we will see you in a few weeks' time.